"Read the final clause," said the janitor. Everyone froze. The billionaire turned pale. The contract slipped from the assistant's hands, and in less than a minute, $1 million deal was gone. Just like that. What did a janitor see that the lawyers and executives missed? And why did a man who cleaned offices know something that shook the city's most powerful tycoon? The answer was buried in a single line, one no one thought mattered. Until now, comment below the city you're watching from. It's always good to see where these stories reach. Robert Blake never looked twice at people like Alan in his world. Janitors were just part of the background. Chairs got wiped, trash got emptied, floors stayed shiny. That was it. Robert ran the Blake Group, one of the most aggressive real estate firms in Chicago. He was sharp, rich, and unapologetic. Buying out small, struggling businesses was his signature move. In meetings, he smiled with perfect teeth, spoke in confident bursts, and made it clear everything had a price. And today, he was finalizing another acquisition, a quiet little publishing house that no longer turned a profit. The owner, Mr. Davidson, was already seated in the glass meeting room on the 54th floor. Old suit, nervous hands, and the kind of face that had aged from holding back tears. Big tech took over, and Davidson couldn't keep up. His name meant something once. Now it was just a logo on a dying door. Robert didn't care about the books. He wanted the building. Location, location, location. Robert's assistant was already flipping through the contract with fake warmth, reassuring Davidson it was all just a formality. All he had to do was sign. But Davidson hesitated. He looked at the paper like it was a goodbye letter. His fingers shook. He swallowed, said nothing, and reached for the pen. That's when Alan stepped into the room. Quietly, almost apologetically, still wearing his navy blue coveralls and holding a trash bin. He shouldn't have been there. No one had noticed him until he spoke. "Read the final clause." His voice wasn't loud, but it landed like a slap. Everyone looked at him. Kelly blinked in confusion. Robert laughed under his breath. "What did you say?" he asked, still half-dash smiling. Alan didn't flinch. Clause 14C. Then he flipped the page. His eyes moved across the text, slowed, stopped. He read it again and again. He looked up pale. The clause gave Robert not just the property, but full rights to all archived material. Every manuscript, every rare copy, every author's original, every private letter stored in the basement of that building. Davidson's life's work, his family's legacy. Gone in a few sentences. Disguised in legalese, Robert shrugged. Kelly started to explain, but Davidson pushed the contract away. Robert stood up. "You already agreed," Davidson interrupted. "No, this wasn't a sale. It was a burial." And then, in a move no one saw coming, he tore the contract in half. Kelly gasped. Robert exploded. But the deal was dead. Just like that, Alan quietly turned to leave. But Davidson stopped him, looked him in the eye. "Do I know you?" Alan smiled. "You published my wife's poetry 30 years ago. She passed last year. Your company gave her voice a home." Davidson's eyes welled up. Silence hung in the air. A month later, that publishing house reopened under a new name. Still small, still struggling, but alive. Alan helped digitize the archives, preserving what mattered. Davidson offered him a job, not as a janitor, but as the new head of Legacy Collections. Robert. He moved on. Another tower, another block, another loss, masked with arrogance. But in that one moment, truth cut through money. And the man no one saw saved everything. If you've ever felt ignored just because of your job, or silenced because people thought you had nothing to say, remember Alan. Sometimes the ones who are quiet know exactly what they're looking at. If you stayed until the end, comment the word legacy, because sometimes that's the only thing worth protecting. There's a story here on the screen that will also move you. Press to watch. You won't regret it.